Guys, this is just crazy. This is just crazy. Oh my goodness. Okay, guys, my name is Maria Goldberg, and I'm the chair of FuFu Fest. And I just want to say welcome to our first ever virtual kickoff meeting for FuFu Fest. We're so glad that you guys could join us in this totally different environment. It's crazy stuff, right? I'm coming to you live, as you can tell, from the Blab Studios. And we are so thankful that they have chosen to support us and getting the message out to you guys today. Special thanks to our team, our committee, for helping make that happen as well. Want to do a couple of recognitions real quick is that we have Matthew Hoffman, who is the president of the ACE board, and he is joining us today, as well as other ACE board members. And then also too, on the call, we have a number of our committee members for FuFu Fest. David Baer with the big Fu logo behind him, and Jane Birdwell, she wasn't able to make it today, Michelle Ortiz Miguez, Teresa Felth McKenzie, Warren Sonnen, and here in the studio, I have Nicole Stacy, our curator, with us. Also too, a couple people that I want to shout out to is our advertising and creative agency, which is Hummingbird Ideas. Jared England and Tim Dozier are here. And I think most of you guys know them. They've been around since the beginning, and we're glad to have them back again. And then this year, we'd like to welcome a new partner. I know a lot of you, Amanda Leesburg, who we used to work with, she has taken on another job. And so we did an RFP for a new agency, and that is now Giant Noise. And we're really glad to welcome them. And we have Erica Binkin, who is here. And then we have other ladies who work with her as well, Amanda and Avery. So that's kind of who's who, and it's nice to see everybody's faces. I miss you. I keep looking at the screen so that I can see you guys instead of looking at the camera. So as you guys know, 2021 is going to be a really different year than in the past. And but before we go to 2021, I want to give a little background as to kind of where we left things off since last seeing you. So Fu 2019 happened, and it was fantastic. It was great. And every year after Fu completes, then as the ACE organization, we start the second part of our marketing campaign, which is called Vacation Artfully. And that usually runs December through April. So we were ramping up for our Vacation Artfully campaign and going fine. And then about February, we were kind of like, ooh, what's going on? And so the committee had a conversation about it's probably not a good idea to be marketing to get people to come to Pensacola for an arts festival that we didn't know if it was going to happen or not, or any arts events. And so we talked with our committee, we made a recommendation to the ACE board to put a pause on all marketing for the Vacation Artfully campaign. And so, so we did. So we paused in March and just decided to do some social things and to kind of lay low because it wasn't a great idea to be bringing people here to gather. Then fast forward is that in August, we met with a number of you all to see kind of what you were doing. We also decided at this time that we were not going to present Fu 2020. Again, that was a committee recommendation that was taken to the ACE board, and we found it to be the right choice. And I think all of us can agree to that. So then in August, we did meet with a number of the organizations and said, you know, we're going to gear up for Vacation Artfully again. And we're going to do a little bit earlier rather than waiting until December. We were going to start it earlier because we were not doing Fu. So we met with a number of you all over at the Pensacola Little Theater and kind of got a gauge as to what was going on and if it was smart, if it wasn't smart. But as you guys know, is that we were all so much in flux, we just didn't know what to do. And so we did maintain a social presence, and we did put out there the things that were pertinent at that time. So then in October of last year, we committee talked again and talked about Fu 2021 and did we think that it was going to be feasible? And after talking to a lot of people, we felt that by November that we should be in a good spot. And so again, we took that recommendation to the board of ACE and they agreed with us. And so I'm very, very, very excited that it is now looking forward to November. And I think we're going to be in a good spot, which is great. So that brings us to where we are now, a virtual kickoff and FOO 2021. So let me look at my notes here. FOO 2021 is going to be November 4th through the 15th. And of course, the biggest change this year is going to be the COVID consciousness for this year. We're taking this so seriously that we have now added this to the scoring sheet, which Nicole will talk about in just a few minutes. But if you wouldn't mind, just look at the screen and I'm going to read it just so that we can all make sure that we're on the same page. The health and safety of the Pensacola Foo-Foo Fest attendees, staff, vendors, and participants are of the utmost importance to the Foo-Foo Fest team. As Foo-Foo organizers work to finalize the plans and event layout for this November's festivities, the team is taking precautions possible to ensure that the health of the festival goers will be kept top of mind, including the institution of COVID-safe protocols and enhancement of outdoor spaces to allow for social distancing. The team will continue to monitor developments surrounding COVID-19 leading up to November's events and will fully cooperate with any instructions heeded for Escambia County by local and state officials and the CDC. So we're taking this seriously. I know you guys are taking this seriously. And as we move forward to November and the programs that you are going to try and put together, we ask that you keep this first and foremost in your mind. Next thing I want to talk about is the grant pool. The grant pool, as noted on the slide there, is going to be $315,000. And you will note that that is less than last year. Last year, we had a $400,000 grant pool. And I think you all know why, is that we receive our allocations from ACE, who in turn receives their allocations from the bed tax. And as we know, tourism tanked. And so they were not able to recoup, the dollars. So therefore, we had to make cuts all across ACE, including ACE general operating grants and grant pools. We also had to make cuts to our advertising budgets for all across the board. We had to, but we are very excited to be able to have a pool to be able to pull from. So I think that that's awesome. One thing that I emphasize every single year, we are going to continue to do the grant process the same way we have done each year. And so that means that you can apply for a grant up to $100,000. There's not going to be a mini or a big, it's just put whatever you want out there. But this year, more than ever, we are going to be following my mantra of ask for only what you need. Don't fluff it, don't put anything in there, because we want to be able to give out as many grants as possible. And so we just can't have you padding your budgets to make something bigger than what it is. It's not fair to the rest of the organizations. And we really want you to be conscious of that when you put your application together. Finally, there are a number of ways to be involved. You can be a grant recipient, apply for a grant and be a grant recipient. You have to be a 501c3 or a Florida nonprofit organization in order to apply for a grant. And so to give you an example of that, last year, or 2 years ago, we had Friends of Downtown. They did Umbrella Sky Project, which I think most of you are familiar with. So that's one way to get involved. Another way to get involved is to become a friend of FOO. And this is a really cool category, and we love it every year. This is for-profit businesses who say, hey, you know what, Foo-Foo is going on and they're bringing a ton of people in town during these 2 weeks. I'm gonna do something too. So for an example, at Jackson's, we host a culinary event every year during Foo-Foo Fest. And so I submit that as a friend of FOO, and then Jackson's is able to take the benefit of the advertising that we do all over the place in order to get people to come to Pensacola. Another, jewelers have had trunk shows. There are tons of examples of how the community can get involved. Then also too, perhaps you don't get a grant, but you're still moving forward with your project, or it's a project that is being built upon that you've done in the past. I'll use the Pensacola Mess Hall as an example. This past year, they didn't receive funding, but Megan and her team already had the science on the streets for past years, the displays, and they went ahead and set them up, which is fantastic, because then again, we were able to advertise the mess hall as a friend of FOO, and it only enhanced the festival. Then thirdly, a way that you can get involved is whether you are as a community partner, a hotelier, through Visit Pensacola. There are so many opportunities, and we encourage you to take advantage of as much as you're able to. Okay, I think that wraps it up for me. I will say that we are going to do questions at the end. And if you do have any questions, just put them in the chat box, and then Nicole and I will go through them at the end of the presentation. So with that, I am going to turn it over to our curator, Nicole Stacy.
Okay, well, welcome everybody. It's nice to see all of your faces. Some of you I haven't seen in quite some time, so I'm really excited to be here today and just share a few of our updates with you. As Maria said, the team has really been working hard to get things back online and really be able to put on an awesome festival for you all and an awesome festival for Pensacola. So without further ado, I just want to give you a couple agency updates. They are on the screen today, but I wanted to read some love letters, if you will, from them, because they're very excited to be a part of the team again. So from our Hummingbird friends, they said, you know, Hummingbird is excited to join the Foo Foo Festival team for our 7th year. Each year has brought amazing experiences, and we've truly grown to value and love the relationships we've been able to cultivate with many of the groups on this call today. We look forward to forming new relationships. As always, we look forward to bringing a fresh and updated creative look and feel to the table for the 7th version of Foo Foo, along with further fine-tuning our advertising and marketing efforts to address current trends. We welcome our new PR partner and cannot wait to dig in with them on crafting and executing a successful marketing campaign for the 7th annual Foo Foo Festival. They're very excited to be with you guys. Many of you have worked with them on lots of different things over the years, so welcome back, Hummingbird. Next up is our new PR agency, Giant Noise. I did want to share that this is also a new PR agency for Visit Pensacola. They're working with us in their 2nd year. They've been a great group to work with. They've gotten us lots of coverage for the area, so we're very excited to have them on board with Foo. And they wanted to let you know that they were founded in 2006. Giant Noise will assist with public relations, social media, and events. They're an agency based out of Austin and San Antonio, Texas. With this partnership, they're going to assist with garnering local, regional, and national media coverage and overall buzz for the 7th annual Foo Foo Festival, helping to position and establish Foo Foo Fest as a must-attend festival. With a large focus on safety surrounding this year's events, Giant Noise will help to craft messaging surrounding the COVID-safe efforts. Foo will be establishing to ensure media, influencers, and festival goers safely come to the festival and that they know that safety is a top priority for this year's attendees and for our partners. The second priority for Giant Noise will be to bring awareness to the incredible artists and cultural organizations that exist here in the South and in Pensacola especially, that culminate to present this event year over year. Giant Noise will pitch a variety of angles that align with the festival, including but not limited to pre-holiday girlfriends getaways, East Coast arts lovers, experience junkies, the survival of Southern culture, the festival lovers paradise, and much more. And we'll lean on each of our grant winners and festival partners to tell all of these stories. This is not only a great opportunity for Foo Foo, but a great opportunity to bring awareness to your individual talents and to your organizations. So let's go over the timeline. You see it here on your screen, and we just wanted to put some general dates here for you. A lot of you are familiar with these, but wanted to make sure you were aware. Today, it's our kickoff. Thank you for being here. On February 5th, next Friday, the grant applications will open. You'll be able to check out the website, review the portal, and take the applications down to start working on some incredible events. We're really looking forward to that. April 19th, we're going to have a couple of meetings for the internal committee. We'll have meetings for the external for all of the public to come. And you can see it here on your screen. The deadline is April 30th. That's the big one I wanted to touch on. Make sure those are in. The deadline is April 30th, no later. If you don't have it in, we'll see you next year, or you can be a friend of Foo. But we definitely want to stress the importance of April 30th. Our public grant scoring and announcement will be on May 12th. We're going to have our internal marketing meeting just to make sure that Hummingbird and Giant Noise and Visit Pensacola and ACE and all of our community partners are ready to kick this thing off the ground. And then on July 7th, the external marketing will happen. And that's a really important meeting for you guys to attend, because it'll be where you can learn, how do I share assets? How do I learn more about what you guys are doing marketing, so that you can focus on the big picture and I can focus with the dollars I do have on other avenues to market my event. October 13th, we'll have our check-in. That's everyone's favorite event. You get to come pick up your swag. You get to come get your t-shirts. You get to go tell us about how excited you are. It's a fun meeting, and I'm really excited for that one to be happening this year. And then, as Maria said, November 4th through the 15th is the 7th annual Fufu Festival here in Pensacola. And we're just so excited to get this festival off the ground and back in town. The score sheet's here on the screen, and the score sheet doesn't actually look different. We're just adding the emphasis of the COVID safety and health of our community, of our partners, of our vendors, of the attendees. So we really want you to be mindful of that as you're putting your applications together. How are you going to have a safe event? How are you going to ensure that the people that are attending your event and the groups that are working with you on this event are ensuring safety and health as well? So be mindful of that. If you have questions, you guys know how to get in touch with me. You know how to get in touch with our committee. Please use us as a resource, because we really do want to make sure that while we're bringing a huge festival back to the area, it's going to be safe, and that's going to be our top priority. So what are some of the rules? You guys know these rules, but let's go over them once more. To apply for a grant, you must be a not-for-profit 501c3 organization. You can, as Maria said, apply up to $100,000, and it may not exceed 85% of the total program expenses. We want to make sure the organizations have some skin in the game. You can see our example there, but show us on your budget what you guys are bringing to the table and what's the money you need to help get the marketing off the ground, to bring some really cool and exciting things that you otherwise wouldn't necessarily be able to put into your programming. Make sure your budget is detailed. No details are enough details. Give us the details, tell us what you're doing, and make sure it doesn't include any of your operating expenses. So no staff salaries for that one. Make sure that you're showing us the process of the grant distribution. So keep us in the loop. How are you doing things? If there's changes, let us know. Make sure that we are in the know. I am your resource. I'm your curator. Maria is here. The committee is here. We all want to know what's going on. How can we help you make sure it's the best festival you've ever had? And then ways to stay in touch with us. You can see it on the screen. You all have my email. We've got Jared England from the Hummingbird team. There's his email. And then Erica is our Giant Noise PR rep. And there's her email. So she's on the call today. Jared's on the call today. If you guys need anything at all, please just let us know. But we're really excited to do this again this year. We're excited it's coming back online. And we're really excited to have all of you here today with us to show us that you're engaged and you're ready and you're excited for FOO as well. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to David Baer. He's going to go over a few of our financial talking points.
Thank you, Nicole. Good morning, everybody. Welcome again. Thank you so much for your participation today on this Zoom. We're really excited to be at this process. We're, as Maria mentioned, we were really disappointed last year that we had to postpone, but we thought it was the responsible thing to do. I also welcome our newest partner, Giant Noise, with the PR team. And so thank you for your addition to the team. So let me get down to it. I'm going to talk about, as you can see on the screen, the insurance requirements, no double dipping, and the check deposit timing, and then the marketing mandates. So first I'll talk about the insurance, and I don't want to put anyone to sleep. So we are going to be passing this out. We have a little document that outlines what exactly the requirements are for insurance, but sort of top line, you're doing a program and we need to make sure that you have insurance to cover all of your liability. So that includes commercial general liability with minimum coverage of $1 million per occurrence. And in aggregate stuff, also business auto liability and subrogation, yada yada yada. It's a lot of different things, and I really don't want to get into the details of all of that, but it's very important. It is a requirement, and to provide certificates naming ACE as additionally insured onto your policy. All of this will be part of, if you get a grant, you will get this as part of your uh, um, organizational participation agreement. There is an agreement that everyone will sign that goes along with the grant amount. Those who are returning grant applicants and recipients are familiar. It really isn't changing. But it's just important that you guys are professionally protecting yourself and your staff and your organization from any kind of liability, from anything that could possibly happen. And because we're putting together the entire marketing plan and bringing all of these events under this umbrella of Fufu Fest, that is the reason for the additional insured for ACE, because we're not putting on the events, we're not telling you how to do them, how to set up the safety precautions and policies and procedures, et cetera. So we have to depend on you and trust in you guys to do that, and so we can all work together for this this program. So anyway, I'll move past that, but the details will be put onto the website with this this whole presentation, with all the notes and I guess Maria said the video from this Zoom meeting, so everybody can reference it back. Moving on to the next topic is double dipping, and what we mean is, as Maria said earlier, the majority of the funding that that ACE gets comes through the county through the tourist development tax. I'm not going to bore you on the logistics of how it gets there, but it's tourist development tax that is the majority of what we use to spend on this program. And that money goes through Visit Pensacola, and it's what we call a unified budget, and it's split among Visit Pensacola, Pensacola Sports, and ACE for all of our programs, for tourism programs. And so we all do our own grant programs and have different reasons for how we spend the money. And we collaborate sometimes, but sometimes we're independent. So it's important that you don't double dip. So if you have a program that you want to do during Fufu Fest and you've applied for a grant and you got it, you won't be authorized through Visit Pensacola or Pensacola Sports to get a grant for the same program, and vice versa. If you've planned this thing already, some event that you plan to do prior to Fufu Fest grant application and process, and you were promised some money through a grant from Visit Pensacola or Pensacola Sports, then you won't be eligible for a Fufu Fest grant. And we compare notes, and because we are trying to get the highest bang for the buck on this tourist development tax, get the highest return for our investment into tourism development. And so the double dipping overlaps, and it's redundant spending for the same program. But that doesn't mean if you got an ACE general operating grant for your general operations, and then you're doing a special program for Fufu Fest, that you're not eligible for the Fufu Fest grant also. So while that may seem like double dipping through ACE, they're totally different programs that we have. And I believe if you've gotten a general operating grant from ACE, then I think Visit Pensacola is only doing program grants. And if it's a program that's totally outside, and I might have to defer back to Nicole on this one, but whether or not you would be eligible for their grants. And I think they're like each individual application, for the different program or whatever, would have to be evaluated for whether or not it's considered a double dip. But just know that for the same program, you're not going to get funding from each organization. And then the third item on my list is check deposit timing. So the way we get our funds, we get it piecemeal. The county doesn't give all of it to us at once, and then we spend it and then provide them documentation showing how we spend it. They give us a piece of it, and we spend that money, and then we have to provide them the backup showing how we spent the money. And that includes cleared checks and other documentation that support those checks. So when we write a check to each of your organizations, if you're a grant recipient, as soon as you get that check, deposit it, because we're not going to get enough. We probably won't have enough to even cover the entire, in one check, one payment from the county to pay for all of the grant applications, the whole $315,000 in one check. So what we have to do is pay out those that are priority. Those of you who say, hey, I've got deposits, or I'm going to lose my artist, or I'm going to lose my, whatever my program is. And then some of you may say, I've got the contract with my performer or program that says I don't pay them till afterwards. So the priority is making sure that everyone has their artists or their program secured. So that's who we're going to write the checks to first. And when we write you the check and you receive it, if you just sit on it, then we can't turn that around back to the county to get the next round of payments to be able to pay the rest of the grant recipients or pay Hummingbird or Giant Noise to place the advertising and promotion or do their work. So, and surprisingly, there are some folks who sit on their checks, and maybe it's because they don't get into the office often or what, but we will notify everyone when the checks go out so that if you're not checking the mailbox often, that you will get that notification. And so please, when you get it, deposit it immediately so that we can turn around and submit that back so that we can get the next payment and get those out to you guys. So then the final item on my list, the Foo Fest marketing mandate and TDC. So I am the chairman of the Tourist Development Council for Escambia County. And this program, Foo Festival, was created to be a cultural tourism marketing campaign. And through your cultural tourism, your cultural programs, we are trying to drive tourists here. We have historically, we are a beach town, and we have historically marketed to those folks, and we have been trying to diversify over the last 5 to 10 years, really do a better job of diversifying who our tourists are, so that when we have issues like an oil spill that shuts down our beach and the beach tourists can't come, or like we had Hurricane Sally that destroyed hotels at the beach and a bridge across to get there. What we need to do is have a diverse set of or base of tourists who may be just wanting to come to downtown Pensacola or other areas of the county besides the beach to be able to enjoy all the different things we do. And so culture, we have such a rich culture. You guys have put on such amazing programs that we want to open the kimono. Everybody in Pensacola knows about them and Escambia County, but we need to open the kimono and show the rest of the world. So that's when we created Foo Fest. And so it's of top priority when you're putting together your own internal marketing campaign for your own programs that are in addition to the campaign that we're doing for the overall festival. You must reach out to external markets. You have to do some advertising spend, your marketing spend outside of Escambia County to try to attract people here. They can come from Walton County, from Mobile, Alabama, Baldwin County, or anywhere. But whatever, we're kind of in a because of the pandemic, people aren't flying very often anymore for their travel, and so we're geographically located as an advantage for driving tourists. So think about that and reach out to Hummingbird, to Jared, to talk about where we're placing some of our ads so that we can get a more expanded coverage of that marketing for your specific event and also for our overall festival. But I can't emphasize enough how important that is, because these dollars are for developing our tourism. Our program is. And so and part of that is placemaking. It's making these programs available for people to enjoy while they live here, but also while they visit. But these monies come from people staying in our short-term rentals, hotels, condos, renting houses, Airbnb, etc. And so we need to reach out to folks and let them know about what we're doing here, so they will come and spend their money on your events and attend them and buy your swag and eat in our restaurants and shop in our shops, et cetera, and then possibly move their business here and their home here and become our own residents. So anyway, again, it's really, really important, and it is a mandate as part of the grant application and grant funding program. So with that, I will turn it back over. I can't remember if I'm turning it over to Maria or Nicole. To Maria. Hey, welcome back, Maria.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. And just to follow up on a couple things real quick that have been spoken about. First of all, we have had, the FUFU committee has had a great conversation, actually been an ongoing conversation for months and months and months, especially with Jared, bless you, of Hummingbird to retarget how we are spending our advertising dollars, and that we are focusing on really the drive-by markets. So moving forward for this year, I know that Erica and Jared have presented a game plan which is really structured to this market. There's no need to spend money on airlines right now. We know that. Also too, on the timeline, we note that we are going to be doing the scoring at the Bowden Building, and that happens in May. And it is our hope that we will indeed be at the Bowden Building. However, if we are not able to do that, then we will again retack and work out some kind of a virtual event, but hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be able to meet in person at that time. So I think that's it. That's going to wrap it up for today. Please note that we will have this presentation recorded, as well as a scorecard, as well as the timeline and David's notes that are going to be available on the website, fufufest.com. So if you missed anything, came in late, all that information is going to be live. And also too, if you have a friend that wasn't able to come today, please make sure that you pass that on so that they have the information, and because we want everyone to be a part of the process. We have such a wonderful, wonderful community, and we have such a wonderful community of organizations. And we, on behalf of ACE and FU committee, we are so thankful to you, because it is all of you and the programming that you do that make Pensacola such a great place to visit, work, live, and play. So thank you very much. We look forward to a great FU 2021. And with that, we'll see if Nicole has any chats. If you have anything, now's the time to ask.
We've got one question. Due to COVID, do concerts have to be outside and limited in size?
Very good question. I would say yes. I would say yes. If they are indoors, you can follow like the cue from the opera, where they're just their past performance of Carmen. They did have it at the Sanger, but they had a very limited number of tickets. I believe it was 375-ish. But Chandra, are you on today? Anyone from the opera? Okay. So I do believe that you can do something indoors, but it's going to have to be at a limited capacity.
And the best thing to do is just keep in touch with the city guidelines. If you're doing events within the city, those guidelines might differ from events outside of the city limits. So just be mindful of what's going on within the community and what the city and the county are drawing up in terms of permission and what's allowed.
Great.
Can people bring proof of COVID test within 72 hours of attending, like the airlines?
Oh, to tell you the truth, I don't think that we can require people to bring that. As FU, I don't believe that we can, but I can certainly find out for you and get back to you on that.
Maria, I'd like to address it.
The location restrictions? Is it only downtown, or is it the greater Pensacola area? They can have events
Escambia County.
all over.
Escambia County. Anything else?
Are the grants going to be given out in order of ratings or dollar amounts, i.e. 100,000 grants awarded ahead of 30,000?
Normally what we do every year is we just put it in alphabetical order by the organization, and that's how we announce it.
Can you suggest outdoor venues besides Wahoo Stadium? I think our committee could get together and put a nice list together for you and put it up on the website of suggestions for outdoor venues.
Absolutely. And you know, I do know just right off the top of my head that the Historic Trust, University of West Florida, they're in Museum Plaza. They're using that for a ton of events back there. And it's a great space. I know that the symphony and the opera have taken advantage of that during these times, and it has worked out really, really quite well.
We'll give it one more minute. Any other questions?
All right, guys, that's going to do it for us today. We really thank you for joining us today. And again, if you have questions, you know how to find us. And we look forward to seeing some really, really great proposals for some really awesome events. Thanks, and everyone stay safe.